Hi, this is Suzanne Wachtel, and today I have a guest actually. I'm very excited to introduce today Jesse Greene, who is the #1 realtor who is really rocking it. And today's podcast is going to be about the psychology and what goes on with people that are trying to either sell their home, find a new place, and what happens. So more or less like the psychology and the feelings behind moving and buying. And Jesse has so much experience with so many different buyers and sellers, and he seems to have the magic touch. So Jesse, how are you today?
I'm doing well, Suzanne. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Jesse Greene with Beachfront Properties. I just started a team called the Greene Group, and just wanted to talk basically about the psychology of buying and selling a home. And it's a very complex process, and there's a lot of emotions involved in buying and selling a home. And when you hire an agent, the agent's responsibility is to really keep those emotions in check, right? We act as a therapist too, because there's so many emotions and reasons why people are moving. Are they moving because somebody passed away and they need to sell? Are they moving because they've just expanded their family? There's so many different little nuances that where the realtor comes in is they balance out and really make sure that the client feels level-headed.
So what kind of questions do you ask? So let's say I came to you and I was looking to relocate and I was nervous about moving here to Florida. What are some of the questions you would ask me to find out what my emotional situation was?
Yeah, absolutely. So we always ask open-ended questions because we really want to know your why, your reason for everything, right? So we delve into your why. What's important to you about moving to South Florida? Why? Why are you moving? Is it for a job? Is it because you want to experience a new life? What is it that you need? And then we tailor our approach to your wants and needs.
So how do you handle someone who, let's say, has just gone through a divorce and they're forced to sell their house, and there's a lot of obviously emotions behind that one? How would you handle someone that was going through a divorce and needed to sell and buy a new place?
Yeah, absolutely. And being in therapy, it's really important to understand and be able to relate to people and empathize and sympathize for what they've been through. So being a non-biased party in that transaction dealing between the couple really makes sure that that I'm understanding of both parties and that I'm non-biased and just help them navigate through the transaction. Okay. Which unfortunately divorce doesn't always end well. Yeah. But making sure that these people are taken care of and that they
Okay, I noticed that you also go out of your way above and beyond when you have a client. Recently you had an older woman that bought a new place, and you had mentioned to me in passing that you were going to go and help her unpack. So are these little gestures that you do to make people feel really cared about?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that I consider myself as more than a realtor is just like concierge services. So we are really hands-on throughout the whole process from A to Z, from start to close, and then many of my clients become friends, personal friends that I socialize with. But we really took a deep approach with this client. She needed to sell her place and then bought somewhere else. And she's elderly and didn't have a lot of money to do the moving, so we moved her by hand. We packed and did all
So these are things that the typical realtor would not do. But to me, the reason why you stand out, Jesse, is that you really do go above and beyond for your people. As a therapist, I feel that I like to do that as well. People need to have that approach, that touch of caring. What do you do in a situation where someone has died and they just can't afford to be in their home anymore and they have to sell it? Like, let's say I was listing a house. What would you do? Would you come over?
Well, if the spouse has died, really just being there for them and understanding, right? It's at the end of the day, real estate is about people. This is a people business. It's not that we're just
selling
a transaction.
property.
It's not a transaction. It's a understanding and really
So-
understanding what.
So it sounds like you use a very human approach.
Absolutely. It's very hands-on, client-centric approach. Make sure that we understand why they want to do something, not just looking at it as a transaction.
As a price, right,
and
like
commission.
a business.
Absolutely.
I have to say, I have never really met anyone who's had your mentality about selling real estate and buying real estate. I really have not. Most realtors, I would think, are really about the sale and about, yes, finding the right home, either way, upsizing or downsizing. However, it seems to me like you take a really more personal interest in each individual person.
Absolutely, and I've always been very into helping people. As a young kid, I've raised, I think, $5,000 for friends with juvenile diabetes. I think I was 9 years old, going door to door. So I've always been an entrepreneur, but I've always loved giving back as well. Mm-hmm. So, starting at a young age, I've done different entrepreneurial things and, led to a career in real estate, following my grandfather's footsteps as well.
I think that's terrific. I also remember when you had some houses for sale that were your listings, you went to the home and fixed it up and really made it very user friendly when people came in, and you did it for multiple weekends in a row. So what do you do when you have an open house? How does that work?
So for open houses, it's a low activity of productivity. So my approach, I am really not a big fan of open houses. I'm more of a door knocking and being on the phone prospecting potential buyers and sellers. But when you do hold an open house, having as much signage as possible out, letting people know. I mean, we put at least 40 to 50 signs out to let people know, that there's an open house. And it's not just putting it on the internet, but it's marketing it. Some people just put it the day of, hey, we have an open house. No, it's preparation, making sure that the home shows well, making sure that it smells well, and just everything about making the property look nice.
That's great. So it sounds like you really put everything into what you're doing. Like you really are focusing on this, and it seems like you're really doing well. That's wonderful. What is the feedback you get from people after you sell a house or you show them a house and they buy it? What kind of response do you get from your clients?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now I have 4 or 5 active listings and a couple pendings. The clients that I've been working with are now starting to build and rapport with me more and gain more trust with me, and it leads to referrals, it leads to more deals with clients, and I'm just grateful every day that I get to wake up and help people, and I like to help people. So the more people you can help, the more people they'll help you, and it's really just about giving back.
So it sounds like you love what you're doing, and not only that, you've really figured out a technique, like a way to really make yourself stand out from other realtors. You market yourself, you treat each person with a concierge attitude, you make everybody feel special and like they are your primary focus. So it sounds like you've really built yourself a quite a nice business.
Yeah, absolutely. We are really focusing on each transaction, but making sure that it's personalized. Spending a lot of time really understanding, again, the psychology of why are they moving, what's important to them, and making it a customized approach to each individual as opposed to everybody's the same. No, it's understanding why they're moving, what's important to them, and those open-ended questions learn more about what they need and what they want.
And you were saying before that really what's important to you is also not always the outcome, but more the process. Like showing people the right places, matching them up to the right place that they would really like, and really not worrying so much about the sale or the outcome, but more about the process with your people.
Absolutely.
How long would you say it would take you from somebody coming to you to actually ending with buying or selling something? How long does that process take typically?
Well, it depends. Are we talking about the listing side or the buy side?
Both.
Okay, so on the listing side, if you price a home appropriately, it sells almost instantaneously. If you do the marketing properly and all the necessary steps to sell a home, it could sell in a day.
So when someone tells me, for example, their house is worth, say, $1 million, and what would you say if I said, oh, so this person wants $1 million for their house? What would you do next?
Yeah, I mean, we look at the comparables and we let them know, what the price is. And, it's not me who chooses the price or the customer. It's the market. The market dictates what the home is worth, and we price it appropriately.
So it really is not personal. You would just compare, let's say, that particular home with other homes in the area and what they sold for.
Yeah, you compare similar homes with the features or benefits that have recently sold or are currently on the market.
Okay.
And, I mean, there are some, if there are more benefits, then we adjust the price.
So you adjust the price. Now, how many homes would you say you have to show somebody before they actually will commit to renting or buying it?
On average, 4 to 7.
Okay.
So we just make sure that we show them what they want, and we compile a list of basically their needs and wants and make sure that we're only showing them properties that are detailed to them.
Okay. So the only real estate that I know that I watched is a TV program, I think it's
Selling Sunset?
Selling Sunset, and also Lottery Home. There's a couple of realtors that just show you a few homes and boom, you buy it. So I was just curious, in the real world, how long is that process typically?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, like I was saying, if you really hone in on what they want, and if you hone in on what they want, then, can be
pretty quickly,
pretty quick.
swift.
A week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
Okay. So what advice would you give to people wanting to, say, sell their home? Let's start with that.
Yeah, if you want to sell your home, really, again, understanding their motivation. Why do they want to sell? Where are they moving to? What is important about them selling their home? Mm-hmm. So really just understanding their wants and needs, and then creating a customized plan to execute.
Okay. And if they're looking for a realtor, besides calling you, obviously, how would they know who's a good realtor? Because a lot of clients these days are not very loyal.
Yeah, absolutely.
They seem to flit around on Zillow, and they can work with you and then end up with someone else. How do you start a rapport with a client to assure that all that hard work isn't going to go out the window?
Yeah, so now I've been more transitioning to a listing agent. I just hired a buyer's agent. So we're doing the training to get her up to par, learning about the nuances of the buyer process, the buyer engagement letter, getting that signed, and making sure that we pre-qualify someone 100% of the time, every time, with no exceptions.
Okay. And what advice would you have for somebody in today's market looking to buy?
That's a great question, Suzanne. So if you're looking to buy, really make sure you know where you want to be, explore the area, spend some time there, see if you like the people, the neighborhood, all the little minute details, but really also just reaching out to an agent who knows the area. It doesn't have to be me, but reaching out to an agent that knows the area, is familiar with the market, with the trends in the neighborhoods, and seeing if it's a good fit with their lifestyle, see if the lifestyle is compatible to what they want, and
club life versus neighborhood life, etc.
Yeah, absolutely.
Condo, high rise. Okay, so Jesse, thank you so much for coming on our podcast today and giving us a little bit of information about real estate in today's market and what you do. I'm sure a lot of people would want to know. Can you just tell us your name again and where we could find you? Yeah,
my name is Jesse Greene with Beachfront Properties, the Greene Group, but you can find me on social media at Jesse Sells FL, and that's on all platforms as well. So thank you so much for having me, Suzanne. It's an absolute pleasure.
A real pleasure to have you. And everybody, call Jesse if you're looking to move. Bye.